This is the fifth estate winning headlines, your media police post coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, from the Photo School of Government. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at some of the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 18th of May, 2022, and I am 2M.
I am JM.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. In the Daily Nation, how the game has changed. In the Standard, Kalonzo Night Talks, deal that never was. In the Star, how Gachagua, KARUA will shape RUTO RAILA battle. And in the PD, next battle, who gets swing votes. All really compelling headlines here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Sun Tzu in The Art of War taught us that a great general seeks victory first, then goes to war. But a pathetic general goes to war first and then seeks victory. This, my friends, is the tragedy that has befallen William Ruto. On Saturday, he made the blunder of his political life. He nominated a man of questionable credentials called Rigathi as his running mate. And this is because in William Ruto's state of mind, he had won the war. There was nothing Raila would do that would sway the mountain in his favor, he thought. To Ruto, it did not matter who he chose as running mate. He was going to be president in August. Ruto had become overconfident. He'd gotten absolutely cocky. But before we tell you how Willie got cocky, allow us to tell you a story. After nearly 2 centuries of naval dominance in the 15th and 16th century, Spain's rulers grew overconfident in their naval abilities. In 1588, while warring with England, King Philip II of Spain decided to send the invincible Spanish Armada to clear the English Channel for a land invasion. To lead the fleet of 130 ships, King Philip II picked the esteemed Alonso Perez Guzman, an inexperienced but fiercely loyal commander. There was just one problem though. Guzman had never fought at sea. His experience was primarily on land. And he was also prone to seasickness. And so in their first engagement, Guzman led Europe's largest warship arsenal to fight the English. The inexperienced Guzman led the Armada to the north of England. The Spanish general's plan was to maneuver around the north of England and hit the enemy from the opposite side. This was a great idea for land troops, but terrible for sea forces. What Guzman did not account for was the rough seas of the North Atlantic. The Spanish Armada was battered by the stormy waters of the Atlantic. By the time his diminished forces reached the English Channel, the enemy was ready and waiting. The English made short work of the Spaniards. By the time the English were done, the Armada had lost half of its fleet and over 5,000 sailors. Guzman had lost King Philip of Spain the war. What's my point here? William Ruto is a modern-day King Philip II of Spain. He has chosen an army general to fight at sea. He has chosen an army general called Rigathi, who has seasickness, to fight at sea. Put differently, Ruto thinks because Rigathi won him Kiamba and Juja, he will also win him the presidential elections. Ruto, we want to tell you that the presidential election is a different ballgame. History has it that every presidential election in Kenya is won 3 months to the election. You have been campaigning for the past 4 years. Martha Karua was chosen as running mate 3 months to August. And if this trend is anything to go by, you, William Ruto, will not be an exception. Karua will hand you the ticket to Sogoi on August 9th, 6:01 a.m.
Very early.
Very, very early in the day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. 82 days to the election. The battle lines have been drawn. Most worthy of note is the fact that we have been presented with running mates that are complete polar opposites. On the one hand, we have agents of light. On the other hand, we have forces of darkness. On the one hand, we have statesmen, people who genuinely care about the Kenyan people.
Yes.
On the other, we have charlatans.
Absolutely.
On the one hand, we have a dynamic duo that will give us transformational politics. On the other, are a gang who will perpetuate transactional politics. But we can also confirm one more thing. And Itweka, a transition of sorts, has officially taken place in the mountain. This is a fresh start for Mount Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta will officially be succeeded by Martha Wangari Karua.
Yes.
Martha will be the new leader of the Gema people. Since she was announced on Monday, there have been tremors of jubilation and excitement across the mountain.
Yes.
And it would appear that Kikuyus were just waiting for Uhuru to announce who will succeed him
Yes.
before they stop sulking and bulking. And you know what? Uhuru could not have chosen a better person than Martha to succeed him.
Yes.
As I said yesterday, Martha is a woman, a warrior, and a willful leader who has proven her loyalty to her community and to the nation of Kenya.
Correct.
But what's even better than Martha is that she is Uhuru's polar opposite. So for those who think and still believe that RAILA is a project of Uhuru, think again, look again. Look at whom Uhuru has chosen to succeed him.
Yes.
First, she is a woman.
Yes.
Second, she is a person of peasant origin.
Yes.
Or should I say hustler origin.
Yes.
And third, she is a person who has up until recently been at loggerheads with Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
Now, what does that tell you about our president?
Yes.
Three things. Uhuru put the interests of his community before his own personal interests.
Yeah.
When Uhuru exits, Kikuyus will be safe under Martha.
Yeah.
Second, in choosing his successor, Uhuru was guided solely on merit. Martha, you will recall, was the only man in Mwai Kibaki's cabinet. Truly, she is the most deserving of this position. And thirdly, Uhuru has demonstrated that he is a most progressive leader. The question he's asking the male skeptics out here is, surely, is it the anatomy of a person that determines whether they can lead? And the answer to that question is, of course not.
Yeah.
Take it to the bank. This is the ticket that will win round one.
Yes.
55% for the fifth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for UDA, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Yes.
Just because Kalonzo said he will bolt doesn't mean it's over.
Absolutely.
We won't know the final presidential lineup up until around the 6th of June.
Yes.
Kalonzo's seat at Azimio is still there.
Yeah.
It's still intact.
Yes.
And I predict that he will be back. And once he's back, the August election will be a mere formality. On that note, let me end with a cautionary tale for the supporters and financiers of William Ruto. Therefore, the tale is about Chinese merchants gambling during the construction of the Great Wall of China. First, they lost the money in their pockets.
Yes.
Then, they lost the merchandise on their carts.
Yes.
Finally, they lost the clothes off their backs
Yes.
and froze to death in the bleak north,
Right.
courtesy of those cold winds. In gambling, we usually say, set a loss limit and stick to it. So now is the time to adjust your expectations.
Love it.
Adjust they shall. So as August 9th approaches, the ball will soon be in our court, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to suggest the easiest way to make the selection process on election day is by via negativa. It is an ancient Latin phrase that means by way of negation. Now, Nassim Taleb tells us that via negativa is the process of making good decisions by eliminating bad ones, i.e., the principle that we know what is wrong with more clarity than what is right.
Right.
In fact, in days of old, they sought to understand God by negating everything that God was not.
Yeah.
A more basic or rudimentary example is we don't know if studying will make us an expert, but we know not studying will not.
That's right.
Now, we can apply this same logic to our politics. We know that we do not want the continuation of the dominance of one tribe, the Kalenjin.
Yes.
24 years they were there, to be exact.
Yes.
Especially when there's a credible alternative that hails from another region,
Yes.
such as RAILA.
Absolutely.
We also know that we do not want a pair of hands in power that will end up in a stalemate and in infighting, instead of cooperation and progress. Now, Ruto single-handedly tried to paralyze Uhuru's term in office instead of adding value. We know we do not want someone who doesn't add value. It is why RAILA outlined very clearly his expectations for his new deputy, saying, I need an effective Joshua on my side, one who will not be a turncoat in the middle of battle or abandon posts for other exploits, and he's a team player with fidelity to Project Kenya. RAILA told us what he does not want with clarity. So do not fall for those downplaying the Rauka ticket. It sells because of a term known as reactive devaluation, which means we judge a message by the messenger. Now, an example. In 2002, researchers showed Israelis a Palestine peace plan. When told it was authored by Palestinians, the participants rated it as far less fair than when they were told it was authored by the Israeli government. My point, messengers matter. It is why when Martha KARUA speaks about fighting the indignity of corruption, it is believable. While on the other side, if you have someone who is tainted with lies and corruption, suggesting even a good idea, then we have to examine that very idea closely, because there's a high likelihood that they're presenting misleading facts along with it.
Right.
Now, the 2022 Battle Royale is shaping up. The RAILA Martha ticket magic is in unlocking a new and progressive voter as well. So cheap propaganda tactics will try to paint her in the negative light as a single mother or a lawyer who took bribes. But all that is just noise to distract from their shortcomings. So eye on the prize, everyone.
Absolutely.
On that note, I had a winning headline. I'm going to maybe veto all of you and go with the Daily Nation.
That was my winning headline
because
as well.
the game has changed. The game changed this week and we very clearly see it. So there you have it. Daily Nation gives us our winning headline. Now the cartoons, I'm sending them all back to the drawing board.
They are nonsense.
None were inspiring. Come on, guys. Where are your thinking hats? On that note, find us on YouTube, but also find us on TV. We're on GoTV, Prime Feature, and Star Times. But also find all of us on social media. I'm on Twitter.
I'm on TikTok at Maina wa Kagema.
On Twitter at Kmaina and TikTok at Kandabongo.
Have a lovely evening.
God bless.